What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Metal Maniacs podcast. I'm your host, Jay Ingersoll, and I'm here with a man that's always free-falling.
Not Tom Petty, but still your boy Mod.
What's
good?
up, buddy?
Hey, just sipping some water, staying hydrated,
Nice. So it is Sunday, and we're sitting here. I wanted to do something. We are coming up on a year since we've released a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been doing this for a year. We've got, by that time, it's going to be over 60 episodes. So we just didn't do the 52. We've added extra stuff, and there's other episodes we haven't counted. Plus, we've started the Last Week on Earth, which is our weekly podcast that comes out on Saturdays. I know Saturday's kind of a weird day. It's just the best day, but that's just a little 15 to 20 minutes of us talking metal news. We're both on Zoom, so it's just a quick thing.
Yeah.
And we're out there trying to promote local bands and local shows as well, and local releases. I've had a few bands send me some stuff.
Cool.
So if you're in a band, make sure you send that over, and we'll talk about it on our weekly episode, which that will also be on Facebook. Everything else is just going to be on Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to talk just for a few minutes. I don't want to drag this on. What you guys are going to see after this little intro portion, you guys are going to see about, I don't know, I think it's probably 15 minutes or more of a montage of just a bunch of clips over the last year, bands and us, hanging out or whatever, talking about some different stuff. So just a montage. I'm very grateful for the last year. It's been awesome to get together with you every Sunday and hang out, give us a reason to chill, talk on the phone, do the Zoom, talk about metal stuff we've loved. I just would like to know how you feel. I would like to know maybe some things you've learned. And kind of your perspective on it. And I'll probably give mine after.
Yeah. Well, firstly, for all the times that anybody's ever said, Mod, you should do something, and they would say like comedian or Twitch streaming or podcast, and I would be like, yeah, cool, but knowing that there's like all of this investment and all this labor that goes into it off to the side, and knowing myself, I was kind of like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not really going to do a whole lot of that legwork. I'm not going to be that motivated on my own in my own time. Got a little kid at home and just like hanging out with her and playing video games. And other than that, so with me in my life, I like to do the thing that I like to do. And I don't like to do all the work that goes into it. My bad. Like, that is me. I will practice my instrument at home and I'll get good at it. But if I'm not like motivated for a project, I won't really just spend time going through scales and learning random songs. Like, I'm goal-oriented. Having you come along and say, hey, man, I want to do a podcast. And it was kind of like out of the blue for me. Like, I know you were doing beats for a minute, and then you had like a year where you're doing some photography and stuff and kind of finding what the next thing was for you. And then you asked me this, and I'm like, for all the times anybody ever said, Mod, you should, when my boy come to me and asked me, like, hey, do you want to do it? I'm like, fuck yes, because I knew the guy was going to do the work, as you always have. You always have done the work with the beats, with the songwriting, with the production, and having the equipment. I was like, well, now it's tailor-made for me. Now it's easy, and I know that whatever success, like not even banking on any amount of success whatsoever, I was just like, I get to hang out with Jay. So it's been really cool, just kind of like, rekindling the flames of our friendship. We're always good friends, but we would not see each other once a week if not for the podcast.
Right.
We'd see each other here and there, which would be a shame because now I look forward to Sunday all the time. Like, even if I'm a little bit behind on things, like, oh, I got to cram, I got to get my stuff together for the show tomorrow, I at least do, because I don't want to let you down. I like to have the accountability. I like to have something to look forward to and do. It's just a healthy activity for me. And that's just speaking to like our friendship and doing this podcast. I think that there's more to it. There's all the people I've got to meet. Whereas otherwise I would maybe just bump into them at a show. And then, as we know, as musicians go, like day of show, I can't really be bothered to do a whole lot of smiley, glad hand. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming out. It's like, you got to load, unload, get the fuck out of the way. Like, I need space now. I need some quiet time. I just did my thing, or I'm gearing up to play. So there's all this like warming up, and it's not really a good time to be social day of the show.
Never conducive to that.
I am a very social person, and I find myself kind of slacking on my responsibilities day of show because like I'm talking to people, but I should be moving gear. I should be tuning up. I should be warming up. I should be setting up, so and I always feel like I don't want to come across as a jerk when I have to be like kind of dismissive of conversations going on and on at length. You want to listen, you want to represent yourself as like a likable person and like engage with people, have your 2 cents, but then, they want to go on for 5 or 10 minutes, and it's like every minute counts when you're on at these shows. So I've met all these cool musicians that have really like given us all of this time. They drive out here from Detroit or Jackson or Lansing or Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo, and then we have the people that we've been able to Zoom podcast with, people that I would never meet under any circumstance, show or not. Like, I'm not just going to run into our boy Cody.
Right.
I'm not just going to bump into him anywhere. He don't live in this state anywhere near us, and I'm not going out to too many of their shows. Whatever he's got going on at any point in time, I would not have accessibility to him. So, and the guys, all the other people that we've had like on the podcast that I've been able to meet. So that's been really cool, meeting all the musicians, listening to music that I just otherwise wouldn't listen to outside of a live environment. Like when, this local band's got, XYZ albums on Spotify or Bandcamp. Check them out. We're going to talk to them. Okay, cool. So now I'm diving into all this new music. I feel like a vampire when it comes to new music. It just keeps me alive. It keeps me young. Like, I'm listening to things that nobody has any idea about. I want other people to share that experience. So I look forward to coming here and saying, hey, listen to these bands. Maybe one day you'll be able to be proud of them breaking out and say, I was there when. And I'd like to say I had a hand in anybody else's success just via this podcast. I wish it existed when we were kids and we were coming up. So I like what we're doing. I look forward to doing even more. It just kind of depends on like what my schedule looks like. But right now I'm wide open, especially with the kid going to school. So maybe we'll see even more content on my end come up. But I've loved it. I've loved the growth. I've loved just kicking it on Sundays and meeting new people. And I know that we're always talking about new things, and I just like to see those things roll out like properly. Like, I never want to just rush something.
Yep.
I think the way that we could just kind of keep going for another year and just kind of refine ourselves. But I feel like I would like to see either some improvement in the things that we do or new things unfold too as we go. But all things in good time. I think it's been just super fun. I just love the good, clean fun of it.
Yeah.
Like, like I'm not partying. I'm not like losing time or like being hungover or wasting time doing video games, which I waste enough of it just like hanging out with my kid. Like, we're gamers. I got her into that early and young, and I just sit there and watch her play while I doom scroll, and I just like being present with her. So I get enough of my gaming in, so it's nice to have a healthy habit, or a hobby, I should say, not habit, but a healthy hobby outside of just hanging out at the house with my kid. Because other than that, like, I don't know. I would like to do some other things with some other friends, just never comes up.
Yeah.
But this is the thing for me. Like, I get listening to new music, not just the local bands, but we do all these back catalog deep dives, and I'm like, I haven't listened to that. So just been listening to so much music because all the new music coming out in 2024, 2023, we kind of rushed in and did all of the new albums at the end of the year. And 2024, I've kind of more steadily kept up on new releases throughout the year. So I've just been listening to new music. I'm always looking for something coming off of the dashboard of my car on the Liquid XM radio. And I'm just like, oh, got to snap that because I want to maybe check out this band more. So I pay more attention, whereas I might not. Otherwise, I might just kind of go into my personal tastes, whereas I still appreciate metal, but being a long time metalhead for decades now, a lot of that stuff loses some of the veneer because you like heard it all. So now I need to have like the cream of the crop wash up on my shores before I give it much attention. Like, I'm not just going to listen to anything. I'll listen to anything that I have to.
Yeah.
But like, what am I really going to love and appreciate? It's got to have to like transcend and do all these special things and genre blend and be, when it's heavy, like, wow, it's got to be captivating. It can't just be crunching open notes or whatever. It's just got to have a lot of things going for it. So for me, the podcast has just meant like getting back in touch with listening to music as a fan. And in lieu of having a band, which I would also love, but I don't have the accessibility and the time as much as like some of these bands maybe want to do. Like a Wednesday band practice was mentioned, and I was just like flabbergasted. Like, middle of the week, week, like getting together middle of the week to do a band practice is mind blowing to me. I got to have it on the weekends, so Yeah, I've enjoyed it, man. I mean, if it was a montage of a laugh reel, that would make sense because I know there's been a lot of laughter.
Most of it is.
I mean, there's been a lot of laughter, a lot of good jokes, and just hanging with the homies, people we know, people I'd never met before. So yeah, that's what I've got to say on it, man. Thanks for thinking of me and inviting me. I know we've got mutual friends. Could have been any one of those others, I could have said, like no for various reasons. Like now it's not a good time for me. And when you did, I thought to myself, man, I might even need this, and I don't even know it. Like I might just need to like have a positive, healthy distraction in my life from other things going on. So I stuck it out, even though I was going to school. I was like, I don't know. Like I quit my job before I quit the podcast, which may be curious, but I know that the podcast is just like Sunday mornings.
Right.
And it's not really cutting into my time. Like my job was like every free minute when I wasn't going to school or with my family.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make a decision there, and I think I'd make the same decision 10 out of 10 times because I needed the amount of time I was spending at work and for what I needed to spend my time doing, like studying for school and practicing those dishes for the sim. I think I made the right choice there. I wasn't going to get all of that time just out of the 3 to 4 hours that we hang out. I needed like 2 to 3 hours a night to practice several dishes along the way. So yeah, it was a healthy distraction for me and just overall a positive experience in my life. I get stoked on it. I talk about it with my therapist. I talk about it with my wife.
Nice.
I talk about anybody who asks me what's up. Well, I'm doing this podcast just for the love of it, and I'm hoping that after we've met all of the local bands and we have them come back through a second time along the way, that we will start to talk to some of the nationwide and even international acts. I know sometimes it takes a stroke of luck. I know everybody comes down here. They love the setup. And I'm pretty amazed by it too, because I watch other podcasts here and there, or I just see what other people do. And I'm like, yeah, we got cameras, we got lights, we got the table, we got the sound. I think we're doing a lot of things right, and it'll take one part of stroke of luck and then some other work that we could talk about off camera and figure out what it's going to take to grow it, and also just always allowing ourselves patience and grace to grow. I mean, you can put in all of the work till you're blue in the face and still not get that traction that you want.
Yep.
That's why I think the most important thing is just for us to have like that hangout session and laugh and talk about music. And I like the last two that we shot where we were just laughing at the reflection of each other's list, like being a little bit different, but mostly a lot alike.
Mostly the same.
And I'm just like, yeah, we obviously grew up like listening to the same stuff,
Right.
and we don't sit here and try to like sound like one another. I definitely try to sound like my own taste and styles coming out and through. And I know we do have some difference in our taste, and I like to see that shine through too. But I just think it's funny hanging out with you and talking about music and the similarities and even the disagreements that we have. We're just kind of like, huh, I didn't know that about you. Or,
Right.
like I was unawares.
Yep.
But how do you feel about the growth of your project and this passion hobby that you've developed over the last year, Jason?
Well, I've had this idea for a while, right? And I don't know how much I spoke about it on the very first episode, but I still love making beats. I still love recording people and mixing people and all that. But I did that for an outcome, right? I wanted money.
Sure.
I wanted you to buy my beats.
Yeah.
I wanted you to come record with me because I could use that money for other things in my life.
Yeah, sure.
But it was always outcome based.
Makes sense.
But
yeah.
I got to the point where I was completely burnt out because I'm doing 10 different projects. I'm recording this video. I'm recording this guy. I'm trying to make beats every week and upload them and make the art. I mean, it just became so overwhelming, and I was so burned out.
Yeah.
And I felt like I wasn't getting anything out of it. And I said, what is true to me? Well, what's true to me is I've played my guitar for the last, 30 years now, But I've always loved metal. We've always loved the Metal Maniacs.
Yep.
You and I have been there since day one through all the bands. We've pretty much played together. We played in other bands and done other stuff. Yep. But at the end of the day, it all kind of came back to you. So you were the first person, and you know more about metal than most people do, too. I could have asked a few other friends probably as well or whatever, but it was more, I'd rather have you sitting there. But I loved every second of it. I do agree with a part of the patience because I don't want an outcome out of this.
Right. Yeah.
But also then I do get tied up sometimes when I see those numbers going up and I'm like, oh, we're gaining traction. At least somebody's enjoying our stuff. We got 370,000 views on one video. And it's like,
crazy.
Man, that's pretty sweet. Like, it's kind of cool. And we're just doing this because we enjoy doing it. And I think at the end of the day, knowing having those patients, you could work your teeth off, but we do need a little stroke of luck. But we need to be consistent. We need to keep it going because a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't have 5,000 followers after the first year of podcasting. It must not be the thing, and just quit and try something else. But you and I both know we've been at things we've practiced, like our instruments or being in bands or whatever. We know that after 1 year, you weren't that great of a bass player, or I wasn't that great of a guitar player. We might have been able to play some songs, or like attempt to get close to what we wanted to, but we had a long way to go with that. And I feel it's the same way with the podcast, especially nowadays when everybody has a podcast. But for us, it's just about being consistent and standing out. And I think one thing that helps us is just trying to build this local metal scene. And I think that's been great. I'm grateful to every band that's come through here. It's been cool to see the list that I started. A lot of those bands have already came through. A lot of other bands that have sent in their music from other states and stuff, just to be able to get that feedback
would
and
never,
know that.
would never hear those bands if not for however they discovered our podcast. Somebody sending in some music just for us to react to. I think that's dope because I'm not going to know about any local bands really outside of Michigan unless they kind of come through on an indie DIY tour, and I also happen to hear about them or see them. I would not know about any of these bands, so we've discovered a lot of cool music, people that we haven't had on the show yet. I look forward to having them on the show. And I think the only outcome for me would not necessarily be success, but accessibility to like the shows, some of the bands and the musicians coming through. You know, I think not even for the sake of growing the podcast, just because I'm still a fan of the music. And I would love to have the opportunity to meet either some of these bands that might not be touring in the future because they're just going to age out and say, I'm done. I mean, like how many more tours are Carcass going to do? Right. You know, how many more tours are some of these bands that from the 90s Tampa scene, how many more tours are they going to do? How long are they going to kick out albums? So having the opportunity to have accessibility to them at the venues would be cool. Meeting up-and-coming bands before they break out, I think would be awesome. Just kind of like having your finger on the pulse of the scene and kind of knowing like I feel like this band is going to come up. Just wait for it. They're going to be huge. Just give it a moment and it'll happen. Like the opportunity before that happens would be awesome. Then, you know, like if a band that we have on explodes after we have them on, well, that's just going to be good for us. Right. And, and I'd like for them to remember us and say, yeah, man, like these guys are dope. Check them out. Right. Like, and then just being able to maybe go and hang out with any of these bands that are coming up that are going to have, you know, their foot in the scene for a long time now. That would be super cool. So, I mean, but as far as outcomes, just to keep doing it and get better at it. Yep. And like you compare it to musicianship, we weren't pros after 1 year. We had to get good at our instruments, and then we had to kind of slow down and say, all right, well, we're good at our instruments. Now how do we get good at songwriting? Right. So there's all these layers to it that I think will reveal themselves to us over time. I think that we have a lot of things that we have going for us, and then it just becomes like you have an aha moment every now and again. Yeah. You know, like you're like, oh, I wish we were doing this from the start, but you don't know until you get to like a wall or a bridge where you're like, okay, we should do this now. Yep. And maybe we'll get better at just back and forth dialogue. Maybe we'll get better at scripting the episodes a little bit tighter so we have cleaner segues. Like a lot of the times, you know, be honest with you, like we're shooting from the hip. Yeah. You know, and just the other day I faux pas on camera, like I misread an article and I'm like, derp. Yeah, that's being human. And so there's a lot of being human on the show, and that's not going to get eliminated. No. But I think we'll just clean some things up as we go. And I look forward to it. I think we've gotten better, more natural. Like we kind of have an expectation, and then we'll have the sidebars off the camera, and we'll say, hey, let's do this, or let's phrase it differently. Let's not say this so many times, or let's just space out like just little things that you're not going to do on day one. Yeah. Like we just decided to get together on day one. We were only going to not even shoot, I think, or we were going to maybe just shoot and not air it. But we're like, let's just go all in, cards on the table. We talked about it long enough. Well, let's do a podcast, you know. And
that's the idea I live in, and I've learned this from somebody else. Like you always want to wait till it's perfect. Yeah, like you'll never do anything ever because it's never going to be perfect. Just do it, and the only way you're going to get better is by doing it. So if you look at our first episode and you've watched it, thank you so much because it looks like total dog shit. I mean, the lights suck and the good camera wasn't even. I had it at that time. We didn't even use it. I think we had two shitty angles. Like if you look, like everything's gotten better, and I want it to continue to get better. So that's one thing. Is like as long as we're on that constant, never-ending improvement cycle, whether it be Discord with the guest, ways to ask questions better, just listening too, because it's easy to be like wanting to pipe in all the time. Oh yeah, but it's just things like that. or I listen to them back to see how I could improve. And it's been a stickler for me, but I say like a lot. And I'm like, why the fuck do I say like? I can eliminate that all the way from my vocabulary. I never need to say that word really ever,
right.
unless I say I like that thing.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's one of those weird little nervous tics that you get because you feel like you got to be always filling that sound because one little break of silence, I didn't say something.
Yeah,
they're waiting for me to say something, you know.
The camera's on.
Yeah, and even thinking about when we first turned this on, like the first 4 or 5 episodes when we turned everything on, like now it's more natural because we're just used to doing it.
Yeah.
But it's been cool to see the progression. It's been cool sitting here. Been cool meeting all the bands. It's been cool getting better at something.
Yeah.
And like I said, dude, no outcome. Eventually, it'd be cool to get some kind of outcome out of it just because we do work our ass off at it. And it is a little discouraging when you put hours and hours into a bio and it only gets so many views but we might be 1 or 2 interviews away from this thing catapulting to the moon.
Yeah.
So as long as you're on the positive end of it and think that's a possibility and that stroke of luck could happen, you might be 1 video away from blowing up, you know. And we've had some decent success for 1 year.
Yeah.
The amount of followers we have on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram all reflect a good, nice, hard year's worth of work. And I'm proud of that, man. I'm proud of how far we've come. Can we get better? Fuck yeah, dude. We can get better at a lot of stuff. But like you said, dude, that's the human aspect. If we waited until this day, we'd have been waiting around for a year to get this next light or this next camera, and then we wouldn't have did nothing. Yeah, you know, it's the same as a news podcast. It's still a little clunky right now, but once we do it another 4 or 6 weeks, we'll have it streamlined, you know. But
I think that also, like, you know, if you look back on the 1 year and all the people that we met that I didn't know before, like, if we didn't do that from day one and we waited a whole year to have better equipment or have a better format or a better outline, we'd have missed promoting all of those bands, meeting all of those people, and listening to all that music. So none of that would have happened if we didn't just say, fuck it, run with it, let's go, like, let it fly, you know what I mean, let it rip. So I'm glad that we did that. I know that I'm a huge talker. Anybody who's ever met me, like, it's one of the biggest things for me is to become a better listener. And so when I'm the co-host, and we have 2, 3, or 4 other guests in the room, and you're the host. You ask the questions first. I fill in these gaps. Well, they're filling in all the gaps, and I'm sitting here the whole time as if I have to piss, just like holding it in. Like, when do I get to talk? Holy shit! I should be the host. But no, I mean, like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's funny to me because I'm just like nodding, smiling, agreeing, and the conversation will go around the room. The subject will change by the time it's my turn to say something. I'll be like, damn, my opportunity just came and went. That's why I like to have a couple of questions in the bag, and thank you for like having a couple of staples for me to ask questions. But yeah, I think that it's been a learning experience for me too. I just learned to listen more and appreciate and let other people have the floor. And I have plenty of time to talk on the show, especially when we don't have guests. But I got to say, my favorite part of the show is like having the other people in the room. And I don't like mail those days in, but I just know that it's about them and not me. And all I got to do is say, I listen to the music, and that's what I do. Yeah. And I liked it, or this is what's good about it, and just encourage them to keep going out there and doing it, because the last thing I want is a world without organic music. The last thing I want in the world is no metal. So when the musicians come through here, I'm always giving them props. I'm always like making sure they feel like at home and that they feel good about what they're doing, because I do want every musician that come through here to feel good about themselves and what they're doing, and just to know that just the same as us doing this podcast, it'll take a stroke of luck for your band to take off, but just keep doing it. Like, don't give up on it. And maybe you refine your style or your songwriting, or you get better at your instrument, or you change along the way, but I just say keep going. And with respect to, you know, all of this, the work that we put in that maybe doesn't get the numbers that you'd like to see, it's still there. It still exists. And if something does happen where all of a sudden you go from 1,000 likes and follows to 10 to 100,000, then that material still exists and people can go back and check it out. And then maybe those numbers will go through the roof then. But I'm happy with everything that we've done in terms of the bios. I think the bios get better. I think we get more and more meticulous as we go. I think they're one of the hardest things to do, because you don't want to misrepresent the band or misspeak, or like, I haven't listened to all of their albums, but here I go talking about them. Like, I think going forward, that'll be a key point. Like, I've listened to every single album, front to back, didn't miss a note. I can speak to it. I know what I'm talking about. I've listened to it. Still never going to know the full history of a band. You know, like you can just, there's so much out there. I mean, I know there's the Wikipedia, there's every article along the way. Some fans are going to know more about bands than we do, and they can always chime in the comments. We're not looking to be made fools of here, but just educate us, if you will.
We're not perfect either.
Yeah.
We try to do the best job we can do here, and we don't do anything with malicious intent.
Nah.
We don't speak ill will of anybody. You know, we may have an opinion about something, but as we discussed, it may be one of those things where it's just not for us.
Yeah.
But we try to shine the positive light on things. We're not looking for clicks by having some shitty hot take, or fuck this band or fuck that band. Like, you'll never see me putting any material or energy out like that, because I could be spending that time or energy talking about something I do really like or enjoy. And if we all did that, the world would be a better place.
Honestly.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
and there's that fine line between, like, we do it for ourselves. We do it so we can hang out. We do it so we can listen to new music. We do it so we can interview bands. And that's perfect. Like I said, it'd be nice down the way if we see some kind of outcome from it. Cool. If it happens, it happens. But I think the biggest thing is just staying true to ourselves, trying to get better. And this next year, I think we're definitely going to do that, because, like I said, with what we've accomplished within this 1 year, we can hang our hat on it and say, hey, we did a pretty damn good job from what we started from to what we have, and we can only get better and move forward. So I'm pretty excited about the next year. I will be shooting to try to get a few other bigger names on the podcast. A few of them that I had talked to that even confirmed kind of fell through for this reason or that. Yeah. But hey, life happens, and we still got a podcast to do. So our success or our, you know, whatever we're going to try to do, our personal goal does not affect if they cancel or drop off or whatever. There's abundance. There's more than enough for everybody. There's plenty out there. I know there's other metal podcasts. I know there's other, hey man, I hope you all do just as good, if not better, than anybody else. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. We've had some fun topics, some fun interviews. Love the reaction episodes too, because we keep just having bands send us, you know, stuff in, so we get to listen to new bands. And it's been a great, like, I didn't listen to metal for a few years, or if there's a record that really came out, but now I listen to a lot of metal, and I can't listen to everything, but it's also given me a reason to make sure I listen to music, which I actually really love. Like, taking the time to listen to it. Yeah, can it be a little daunting because we're so busy now? We're adults. We have kids, stuff going on.
Live in the TikTok era too, where people can barely listen to one song start to finish, and now
30 seconds of a song.
We plow through full albums like it's our job, and we treat it like our job, but we also like to know what we're talking about. Yeah. And if I'm going to come out here and say, like, hey, check out this band, I'm not just going off of like one song that I heard on the radio. Right. I'm at least saying, like, yeah, they got a good song, but the album's kind of weak, or yeah, this is a great album, and it's not just got like the one good song that I heard, but it's got 9 or 10 other that follow it on the album. So I think that, you know, it's a good way to share with people and inform people, like, hey, you know, like, let's not all fall victim to like the music paralysis thing where we stop listening to music at 30 and we only are going to listen to the bands that we know up until that age, and then just everything else after that, nah, all new music sucks. No, there's a lot more music because of the internet, and you have to sift more through it. And everybody now gets the stage, and sometimes that stage only lasts for a season. Yeah, like the album comes and goes, and you know, on to the next. Yeah. But I think it's fun to listen to new music, keeps us young. I got ideas for the show. We'll probably talk about off camera, but I think it would be a good time for people to think about while they're watching the montage what else they think we should do. Yeah. You know, like, what other ideas people have, I would say drop them in the comments. I know I have a few I'm going to talk to Jay with after the show here. When we cut the cameras, some things popped into my mind that I was just discussing with another mutual friend of ours. But, yeah, let us know in the comments, too, if there's a direction you'd like to see us go, topics or anything we haven't even done yet that you think could fly. I think that we may have talked about those things ourselves, and we don't know how exactly to do that yet. And we kind of want to stay good and, you know, sharpen the tools that we have before we invent something new. The newest thing being the Last Week on Earth, where we're like, hey, let's just Zoom it and talk for like 25, 30 minutes tops on the news stories. And so we'll get better at that. But there's other ideas that we have, and I'm curious to know what people think that they would do if they were in our shoes. Yeah. Like, obviously, I would love to meet bigger bands and have them on, but that'll come with time and rubbing elbows and networking and getting to that point. You don't just kind of like barge to the door and say, hey, I want to talk to Ozzy Osbourne today. It's just, can I please talk to the Prince of Darkness today?
Fucking calling him. Who the fuck is this?
Fucking Ozzy.
Metal Maniacs podcast, bro. Come on,
bro. Where you been, dude?
457 followers on Facebook. Or
Let's
on
go.
YouTube, man.
Yeah.
Fucking what you talking about? Okay, yeah. With that being said, though, we always do take feedback. Like, people have said stuff, and I've taken it. I don't say fuck you. I don't say whatever.
You're right.
We are humans, and as long as you're polite about it and say, hey, you spoke wrong, or you should think about this. Every person that I've had discourse with, I've had a good conversation with for the most part.
Mostly.
I don't need your bullshit, shitty.
We're gonna get
comments,
that with more followers, more hate, but
at the same time, it's like I've kind of come accustomed to like their point is invalid. Like, if you're just gonna like put me down or say whatever, and we've talked about that on the show before too. So I'm not even gonna hold light or candle to that. But we also do need to interact and grow with the people, so we have to read those comments. We don't have that big following where we can just avoid that stuff. But we went a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I just wanted to get your feedback, man. I appreciate it. Like,
it's been fun.
Yeah, look forward to the next year.
Yeah,
till August next year. It's been crazy that it's been a year already, but man, we've worked our ass off. We've stayed consistent. We got a lot of things. Still stuff like you said we're working out, but we will work that out in time. And thank all the bands that have been on here. Thank everybody that's sending music. Thank everybody that subscribed, liked, shared, or did any of those things, because that's what you guys can do to help us keep this thing going.
Yeah, especially if you want to see bigger names on here.
Right.
You know, like
we got to get bigger to get bigger names.
Yeah.
You know,
and there's only so much we can do. I mean, we work, we pay bills, so we can't just sit here and we pay for the equipment, we pay for the apps to like do some of the software work that we're utilizing to make the episodes all come together. So we're not really going to start sinking a whole bunch of money into promoting it, at least not in the first year anyway. I think we want to have that organic growth. I don't see the sense in throwing a bunch of money at promoting ourselves if it's just going to be random people that don't actually follow us or engage with us. I think in that first year and even the next year, I would just gladly develop organic growth on the show and have that engagement more and more, have the bands all come back a second time through, or maybe even a third time through if you're If He Dies, He Dies. I think they're the only ones to be on twice so far, as far as I know. But yeah, just growing the audience and getting people's feedback is the goal for the next year, and maybe a few new things. But I think we'll exercise restraint and care before we implement too many new things. I don't want to have it like everywhere.
Can't do that, man. You spread yourself too thin.
Yeah.
You know. We got to focus on the priorities and then go from there. But
we'll
continue
the montage,
Yep, enjoy the montage. We'll continue to put out content. Thank you guys so much for an awesome year here at Metal Maniacs. Our goal for the next year, and we'll talk a little bit about this off camera, will be to see you guys out at more shows.
Yeah, makes sense.
At least like local shows. Like
Love
next
to be out
year,
more,
we'll be representing at Metal Fest. I'll make sure of it. We'll have a booth, something like.
Sure.
We're gonna be. I want to be more involved in the community this year as far as local shows.
Yep.
I think that'll help a lot. And then a lot of other cool stuff coming. A lot of bands already lined up. I'm getting bands lined up already for October. Some shows coming up. Our name was also on the Reinventing Yesterday flyer, if you've seen that.
Yep,
So we'll be a big part of that, or at least
cool.
I know I'll be there for sure.
Yep.
And with that being said, much love to you guys. Keep it metal, peace. Enjoy the montage. Dave brought over the Anthrax Attack of the Killer Bees album.
Yep.
And that got me in trouble because of the because my mom read the lyrics, just doing that toilet bowl the whole time.
I remember my buddy Shane, he heard that album and he's like, it just sounds like he's pushing a refrigerator across a basement floor. Oh, it just always kills me thinking about that.
Yeah, that's the best.
Rounding out my top 5. Now this one's a tough one to spit. This was a tough sell for me.
We're gonna have to bleep this out.
Yeah, my dad didn't appreciate this one.
He's like, "What the fuck is this kid?"
Yeah, this one wasn't a favorite in the household, and it's definitely one of those moments where I wouldn't have called my band this. I wouldn't.
Plenty of times I got wine drunk and pissed my pants with him before. So I didn't necessarily piss my pants. I like pissed on my pants. I remember I still pissed my pants, but like,
hey, you're the host. It's your story.
Yeah. So I mean, that's it.
I forgot about that. I'm learning new things this morning too.
So welcome, Addison Eilers. What's up, buddy? Kind of reads or?
Yep. But to be fair, I'm actually the replacement vocalist, so it really boils down to Jeff.
Oh, so Jeff fired everybody.
Yep, Jeff. Yeah, he's like that.
The best bands.
Yeah, so you guys are mad at someone. I don't know who it is, but goddamn.
Well,
Just mad at the world, man.
Or is that other accuser of the brethren?
yeah, we're pissed. It's you. You're the one that we're pissed off at, dude. Motherfucker.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to make sure that line wasn't about me. Just to fucking check it.
Well,
John Axl Rose Bloomberg. No, it's not Axl Rose.
Lawsuit incoming.
Axl Rose is back there fucking just blasted in a black metal band. Welcome to the black metal.
Honestly, the only thing they ever were like that where they were like gatekeepy about was like Marilyn Manson. That was like the only thing. Like they did not care that I had like Cannibal Corpse albums or stuff like that. But they just, my mom thought Marilyn Manson. It wasn't even because he was offensive. It's just, she's just like, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
I don't like that guy.
He's missing that rib,
and that was it. Yeah, he's missing that rib. What are you doing with that? That seems a little odd. But then right
Paul
next
from
to
the
it,
Wonder Years.
but right next to it, there could be
with certain other people that will remain nameless. And yeah, because I'm not a shit talker either.
I am, but I'm just not on camera.
So it's all right,
Catch me outside, they say.
But that was the start of it.
But for me, I fucking loved all 2 minutes and 26 seconds of that. Every cricket, every fucking bowl scraper, every fridge mover. Just
So I'm torn because you already know. You can see my reaction as soon as the vocals come in. My hands go to my face because I'm like, why? But more power to the vocalist for even having the ability to do that shit. It cracks me up all fucking day.
And then I stumbled upon a low guttural on accident during an argument at one point. So yeah, I mean, sometimes it works like that. But and I was like, oh shit, I can do this. All right, it took some lessons and all that shit, but.
We spent like you said, we spent a lot of time in basements together, man. And
Yeah.
We spent a lot of our formative years in tight areas,
Yeah.
just like sweating and
Yeah.
giving it all we had. So like,
Where's
that's
this
very
going?
important.
Yeah.
guys in this room collectively, but we put in a lot of work at this table.
Yeah,
as far
for
as
sure.
like local music for that
Oh, yeah.
decade of and more.
Yeah, for
from
sure,
you guys,
for sure.
You know what I mean?
And having to be concerned about every day checking your likes, how many views. I mean, it's a different business. It's just a whole different breed.
No,
where
it's like, being
it becomes redundant and takes out the fun.
yeah,
seems like.
it's behind the curtain stuff, like the man behind the curtain, pay no mind to them. There's just so much work that goes on behind the scenes, right? Like you say, checking messages, checking the algorithm, checking the likes,
Like I can't see
engaging.
Kerry King of Slayer. When I was a kid, I can't imagine him sitting down at a laptop and worrying about how many likes he got.
No, I'll let people know.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly it.
You're
That
that fucking good.
That is, sorry, Eric, but I'm gonna call you out. But no, I think Eric is he's very proud of his skill set, and he's never been able to show it off in front of
12 and hanging out at the bar, no big deal. But you know what I mean? That's-
Yeah, I was younger than that too.
Yeah, he was like, just reverse my age, and I really need to be here. 21.
Somebody had to drive their parents home. I mean, Christ.
The responsible
John in the
one.
corner just trying to power chord while his parents are all drinking and shit.
We got home safe.
Yeah,
That's all that
at
matters.
12.
And I'm not going to think about vocals because River Fox will scream at me, and that
Don't
won't be good.
fucking think about it.
Let him do his job.
Chris,
I'll ask
Chris,
you
does
if
it
I
help?
need help.
I got to imagine it helps to hear those things first, Chris, so you can write your part for yourself.
I don't think he's
What's
listening
that?
to
Oh,
him yet.
yeah, he can just do the scratch tracks, and then I'll write the lyrics for it.
All right, so yeah, we're
Like he
good.
forgot or whatever. All right, well,
We're good. You people fuck off. New Nick, come on. Let's go. We're going to my house. I got a guest bedroom.
Why do I feel like I'm going to the
I
trunk?
have 5 bass amps. You see my collection.
Get in the car. There's bases in here.
Yes, I need to know bases.
You're gonna need to. You're gonna learn a lot
Oh, you were gonna learn, new guy Nick.
today.
By the way, I have a bar.
I remember, shit, I must have been 17, 18, something like that. And we
Younger.
played at this party like out in Fruitport Spring Lake area in that dude's garage. I don't know if you remember, but
Yeah, Van Wagner.
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
that band was
I got
5
pulled
cents.
over on the way home from that show. Yes. I
Oh,
remember.
so that band was 5 cents
Yeah.
when we were jamming with the Brett and Adam and
Yeah.
Rolland, right?
Yep.
Whoa.
And you
oh
guys
my
played there.
gosh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, that is crazy. I'm remembering that now. That I have not even pulled up that memory in so long. 'Cause I specifically do remember that show. But yes.
Yeah, we
Oh my
had some heavy
gosh.
tunes then.
That's why I said we go back even further because I remember STD at the Pulse nightclub too.
Was it STD
Yep.
or was it Critical Mass?
Oh, could have been Critical Mass.
It was
Okay,
Critical Mass.
okay.
But I'll tell you
But-
the only reason why I remember that detail was because I was there though.
I was almost there too, but this guy's like, I was like, he's gonna judge me because his body is a temple or a wonderland or something. And I was like, literally about to text him, hey, I might run a little late. I'm gonna pick up some Mickey D's. And I was like, he will ridicule me.
No
His
judgment.
body is a wonderland.
No judgment here, man. No judgment here.
Well, you're cultivating mass, so you know.
I'm cultivating mass. I
Yeah,
get
that's
that.
how you get bigger.
James doesn't do good takes when we track unless he gets Taco Bell first. So
I'd have my Winnie the Pooh record player, and I'd be blasting, REO Speedwagon, Black Sabbath on it when I'm supposed to be playing Pinocchio records or something.
Yeah,
Teddy
the little,
That's boring, man. This is way cooler.
You got the Teddy Ruxpin jamming deicide.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you could put any tape in that Teddy Ruxpin, dude. You could fucking. I remember that.
Yeah, buy a shirt, support the podcast. Why not?
Yeah. Wait, this first band I think is the source of light and power.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
Avenged Sevenfold sounding the seventh trumpet.
Yep.
Slayer,
Also.
God Hates Us All.
Mm-hmm.
Badass Drowning Pool album. Just kidding. Nah. Really. That was fucking
What?
Just kidding.
Learning new things. Learning new things all the time.
I didn't expect that. I was like, okay.
Like, I guess you say what you want on your podcast.
You know?
No, totally kidding. If you like that, I'm happy for
That's
you.
all right, though.
Yeah, that's good. Dan, how did you come up with it?
Because all right, so oh my god, so there's a Morbid Angel song called, I think it's called Dawn of the Angry.
That sounds right. Yeah, it's off of the Domination album.
Album. So I'm like kind of dyslexic, and I thought it said Dawn of the Agony at first, and I was like, Dawn of the Agony. All right, cool. I was like, I'll do Dawn of Agony. I'm looking, it's like Dawn of the Angry. I'm like, all right, fuck it, we'll keep the name. So I'm like looking at it, and I was like, there's a Morbid Angel song. They're like, dude, no, there's not. And I was like, yeah, and I was like, oh shit, no, it's Angry, not Agony. But no, and I I don't know, dude. Just one day, I was probably stoned, and I was just like, "This seems like a sick name," and I just sent it to Vinny, and then
That's fucking awesome.
Vinny was like, "Yeah, okay."
I love it.
No, that's a cool story. Let's go into your lyrical content.
I don't read. I hate books.
This guy.
fuck reading.
I mean, it is a podcast. Who reads?
No. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of books, but I take a lot of influence. Like everything about the band is directly derived from like my favorite video games.
Okay.
So
fair,
like
fair enough. You've got source, influence outside somewhere.
Yeah, like Dark Souls.
Cool.
Sorry, I just have
No, you're fine, dude.
the worst bladder.
No,
in the
go
entire
ahead.
world.
Just go ahead.
Just
You're
go
good.
pee, dude. No one cares.
Yeah. I don't have any jugs around, so I don't.
Well, should have been prepared. So.
I may even have a couple jokes, so next time you come on the show, I'll have them ready for you.
Just down this water and give you this.
He's talking about getting like a portable urinal.
Yeah,
So I think you can get. They're
Yeah,
like,
the little handle.
it's just a weird joke.
God damn it!
Just that handle.
Oh
Okay.
god.
This again.
Yeah.
So we actually hung out with them like 2 or 3 times before we actually brought them in to play a fucking note.
Yeah, that's always such a challenge. Like cool, you can play the shit, but can we hang?
Yeah.
Like, are you a fucking weirdo? You want to talk about weird shit?
Or
Do
just
you
can
say
be
weird shit
yeah.
to people?
Oh yeah, like
you know
are you
what
just
I
gonna
mean?
be chilling in the back of the venue until we are playing, or like
yeah.
what do you do?
Yeah. Like, can you hang out with other bands too and not be a fucking dickbag
Yeah.
and like be weird and offensive and
Right.
say some off the wall fucking shit that nobody wants to
Yeah,
hear?
yeah. Luckily he's not.
Yeah.
He's not like that thing.
I mean, it's a fine line because you're just like, dude, you're talented, but
yeah,
who the fuck can stomach hanging out with you?
That's why they're so talented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to have real conversations.
Right. So, yeah, you know.
Christmas. Yeah.
So I said to her, I said, I will die of anxiety if I don't know that I have these concert tickets like before long.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait till the deadline.
Right.
And so like a couple hours later, I'm looking at my email and I see I got one for my wife, and that's pretty rare. I open it up. It says "Happy Birthday," and it's the tickets to Sonic Temple.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So bless my wife. She not only treated me very well for Christmas, but she's also already treated me to my birthday in 2024.
Yeah, there you go. Don't be expecting anything else. Come May, I'll tell you that, buddy.
No,
just like maybe trying to like practice once a month if we could,
Mm-hmm.
just to like get something done, and like hope that practice would be productive in the 6 hours we would try to do, because after like 4 hours of practicing and writing, it can just get
mind numbing.
Yeah. And then then it just turns into jamming.
Right. And you're like, I don't know if I'm getting better or worse. 'Cause I've been doing this for 6 hours.
And then the hardest part is like showing up a few weeks later, remembering everything you just did.
And
I
then
can
you're
do the
blowing your
things I
vocals
wanna
out
do.
and shit because
Yeah.
you can't even hear it.
Right.
So you don't even know if
And
you're
then
actually
you-
singing that part
Yeah,
correctly.
just fight
or
can be
whatever.
heard,
bad
dude.
habits too by doing that.
I
That's
found
the
out I
worst part.
developed all kinds of bad vocal shit.
Yeah,
because,
bad
like, I
habits.
had started
Yep.
when I came home from the Jizzy. I started looking up like what are other metal like warm ups,
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. Water.
Yeah, we
come to find out.
He found some Will Ramos warm.
Yeah, I brought the straws,
and they
dude.
were legit, dude. They were shout out.
I think
Nice.
another good thing about just hammering the song out, getting it out is, now we have something. Dies is, historically always on the cusp of a major internal meltdown and breakup. So,
Oh, yeah.
So in case we all get fired, at least we have this one song.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just laying that mark down just to keep inching
Yep.
further and further along.
Exactly.
I'm always ready to get
He
fired.
just
from my
said what we're
graph,
all thinking.
I was gonna say, I appreciate
Out
the
loud.
honesty. Yeah,
Quiet
You
part
know,
out loud. I love it.
Being transparent.
He's
the best
not
way to
wrong.
Be.
Yeah.
It's like every weekend. Like,
Dude, Cavalcade fucking kicks ass. I watched your reaction to them, and you're like, I'm worried about this because there's like so many descriptors for their genre.
Yeah, when they said shit, and it was all stuff that I don't like, and I was just like, "This is not gonna be."
we
good.
both looked at each other like, maybe not this.
Yeah, maybe
but
not
It
this.
was
And then we
good.
listened to it, and it was actually really good.
Really
and I was
good.
like, okay,
Nah,
cool.
those dudes are sweet.
Yeah, we've heard nothing but the band names have been mentioned by multiple other bands on people that we've talked to in this conversation. In the comments below, you guys are gonna say, "Well, what about blah blah blah?" And then blah 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 is gonna be Guthrie Govan, Paul Gilbert, Zach Wilde, Dimebag Darrell, Marty Friedman, Jeff Beck. Like all these guys are shredders, right?
Yep.
But those are all guys you're gonna see in Guitar World.
Like, you just shot off like 3 of my guys. Blew them right off my fucking list, dude. They're not. I didn't know they weren't heavy enough.
I had to. I had to redo mine too because I was like, "Fuck, dude!" Like, I don't even really think about this.
Sure.
And I honestly was more into Pantera as far as the thrash bands go.
Right.
I mean, of course, I have a big love for Metallica. I'm not a huge Megadeth fan, but
I won't tell Dave you're safe.
Yeah, Dave wouldn't be happy to hear that, Adam.
Boys,
Yeah, thanks for the care package, man. Like I said, I would be more than happy to pay for these items as well. This is what I specifically asked for because I needed some fucking new sunglasses.
some shades block them haters.
Yeah, and
I like to do stuff.
Fucking A. Looks good on you.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Are they 3D?
Oh man,
Hey,
that's the next venture.
That's what he told me
Yeah.
on Friday. He's like, I need to get some 3D glasses.
Dude.
blinders on. You're like, that was fucking sweet. Because I don't know about you guys, but my favorite part of any music process is like writing new shit. Like, some people
always
love this.
fun, yeah.
Some people love the studio. Some people love live, and like I like both of those things. But it's just like being in the room with the homies and like you're both smiling because that part's fucking sweet and heavy. You know, that's my favorite shit. Like,
It'll be Nate laughing his ass off. We come up with something sweet. Nate's about dropping his guitar.
yeah, it's like fucking yeah.
That's so fast. We're like, how is this faster than the last song?
Nice. Yeah, that's my favorite feeling when you could just be the four of you hearing it, or the two of you even. You're just like, yeah, dude, that's fucking awesome, man.
Oh yeah.
There's this app called Vamper, and it's basically like Tinder for musicians. And you swipe left or right, and you get
that's amazing.
You find other musicians that are similar to like what you're trying to do. Like if you need a drummer, you're swiping on drummers. And
hold on, I gotta set up my Vamper account real quick.
Yeah, no shit.
it's pretty cool. And like
back in the day, like the big huge stickers that you'd put on the back of your window. I had a Hatchet Man sticker.
Yeah.
I'm not saying one thing or another about ICP, but it was just the cool thing to do or whatever.
Is that Shout Out Loud?
Yeah, whoop whoops.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. And I remember because they were going.
He lives in Alaska.
Oh, okay.
He gone.
He gone.
He gone.
He fishing.
Love that
He
dude
gone.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great outdoors.
But anyways, we were
Okay.
standard for a hot minute.
Okay.
And then I think we wanted to get heavier again. Yeah. I think we doubled down on it. Both times, it's funny because in Malice we had Ross. We featured Ross on a track playing like a guitar solo. Well, no, Ross was in the band. You were kind of in the band, and we fired him via MySpace.
Straight
I think.
ass,
And
they
he didn't
threw
even
me
know
out.
we're in high school still.
Yeah.
And he
Funny
went to
story.
show his sister the
That
band
was
he was
on-
in, and we
yeah.
like had removed him from the lineup list.
How you like that? Did that song?
That's how we found out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then even in standard, we're like, man, we got to put Ross on a song. So he has a solo in one of the songs off of that album, but we kind of toned it down a little bit. With like it's like in the background. It's kind of a dick move still.
Not even a text.
What
Like,
they do?
Not even a text. Like, hey, mom, look at this band.
Not
the
in.
hell? I'm not. Doesn't even say my name anymore like it did yesterday.
I wasn't showing my mom. I was showing my sister.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for checking out the episode. Be sure to hit that like button and give us a share.
Yeah, and if you enjoyed our podcast today, please give it a rating on your streaming service to help us gain some exposure.
And if you really enjoyed the show, please give us a follow or hit that subscribe button and come hang out with us every week. And remember, keep it metal.